Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Camera's in a different place today because I just want to do something different. Now, this is a strange video because all you're doing is watching me trying to work out where stuff's going to go in the new place. But I went back with my sister today so she could have a look round, and I took some more precise measurements of various things I need to know. And the first set of measurements were for the conservatory. Now, if you can picture, you'll have to do pictures while I do words, but when you are standing in the entrance to the conservatory, looking forward at the door that opens into the garden, if you can imagine the left-hand corner, yeah, so from that corner to the opening door, so that's from the corner across the door that I don't want to open, that's 58 inches. So we can get one of these. I was going to say all the plants are going to be in the way, but we'll have some fun. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? Right, that's 36 inches, and I've got 58 inches to play with. So 36 from 58 is 36. That's 22. I've got 22 inches to play with. So can I get another rack on the end, like this one for instance? That's 23. Could we overlap the door a little tiny bit? We might be able to. What about if we put it round the other way? If we put it round the other way, then it's only 17. It'll fit in nicely. So that would go, that pair there would go along, and then that one would stick out a little bit, but only a little bit. Yeah, I mean these are, that is 24, and what did I say? It's not even going to stick out a bit, is it? So what we've done now is we've sorted those two racks out, and that one. So I didn't know the camera was loose. I do apologise. Who's been sick? Sorry, I was just going to pick it up. So we've sorted out those two and that one, and they will occupy the left-hand corner over across the non-opening door. That's that done. So now if we come back to our immediate left, so we're now standing in the slidey door entrance, in the immediate left-hand corner, those two are going to go. Yeah, so I don't need to measure that. That's fine. I know they fit. So that one, those two are going to go. So that leaves this little short one down here, this big one, that's my tallest one, and this one. Well, so we've done the left-hand side basically. Now what we were going to do was we were going to have a pair in the far left corner and a pair in the near left corner. So that's the two pairs done. There's a gap in the middle, a big gap in the middle, and what I'm hoping is that this tall one here will go in that gap. So that's like the third pair, but it might not. But if you think about it, coming down the right-hand side of the conservatory, this bench here, hang on, where's my measurements? We've got from the opening window into the what is now the right-hand corner, immediately to the side of me, I'm still stood in the entrance looking in, yeah, that's 58 inches, and I've got my workbench earmarked for that, and that's only 36. We've got room to spare here. Now the window itself is 30 inches wide, so this little low one down here is only 15. Well, that fits, doesn't it? And then I also measured from the floor to the bottom of the window, which was 36, and that's only 30. So providing I don't put tall plants on that little one, I'll be able to reach over that and open the window. So that works. Right, so now we've done the top the top left-hand corner and the immediate left-hand corner and the gap in the middle. We might not need that, because what we did was the top left-hand corner had an extra rack on the end because there was room. So actually we've only got 2 more to go, and I think this small one will go in between the 2 pairs, which leaves this big one. Well, we've still got a whole corner left, haven't we? The top right-hand corner we haven't even talked about. So we've talked about the immediate right-hand corner, that's where my workbench is going to go. We've talked about the little low one, which will go underneath the window. We've still got that top right-hand corner, and I think that's where my big one can go. Did I measure it? We've got 31 inches from the right corner to the opening door. 31. And that's 27. It's done. All of this not only fits in, there's room to spare. No, we're not getting loads more orchids. But what we will have is room to spare, which I will really have a serious think about. Not because I want more shelving, but I might want some shelving to put stuff on, like pots, things like that. I don't want my chemicals and feed in the grow room yet. They may end up in there depending on what happens with temperatures, because obviously things like that shouldn't get too cold, but the worst thing that can happen to them is to get too hot. Now, I don't think we're going to get too hot in that conservatory, so we may be able to store a lot of the clutter that at the moment I'm having to put up with in my dining room. We might be able to get like a tall set of shelves for a corner to put stuff like that in, spare pots. This is going to fit in easily. It's all going to fit in easily. Hurricane Hector's not even required till about March or April, and maybe nowhere near as much as before, because I don't think we're going to get the heat. And without the heat, we're not going to need Hurricane Hector, because his main purpose was to replace the humidity that the extractor and the inlet fan between them changed the air, sucked all the humidity out when it was hot, and Hurricane Hector was there to replace it very quickly. Well, if we're not sucking the air out anymore, we're not losing the humidity like we used to. So Hurricane Hector will have a minimal use, I think, which means it'll last a lot longer. Yeah, this is all going to fit okay. You do have to bear in mind we've missed one point. That's got to go somewhere, hasn't it? My little watering table. I can't be without that. That's for sure. And in addition to that, at the moment, I mix up my feed in there. I don't want to do that. I don't want any of the functioning part of this new Growspace in the house. I want it all in the conservatory. So we'll work on that. See, at the moment I use my workbench when I'm watering pots. As I clear a shelf off, one pot at a time, I water it and I put it on the top of my workbench. And then when that whole shelf's been cleared off and watered, I put them back and then move on to another shelf. So the workbench gets used to put watered pots on. I used to put them on the floor, and there was an awful lot of bending and stretching and cussing and swearing and language and all that sort of stuff that went with putting pots on the floor. I want stuff like waist height to get rid of this bending, so I don't mind a bit, you know, I have to keep mobile and everything, but yeah, so it all fits in, but it might need a jiggle, it might need something extra. Like this little table that I use for watering, which I love, my daughter found that second hand, and got it sorted for me, and it's metal, so it's never going to rot or anything. It's perfect to water on, and the water just runs off the edges. Well, we do have a problem. We're going to have, I just watched today when I was watering, and oh, can I show you one? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you see, I water the pot. Where's my camera? I water the pot, and then that happens. Yeah? So before I put it back on the shelf, I do that. Whoops. Because out here it doesn't matter, does it? Well, there it will. I can't go flooding the flooring, that's for sure. Okay, well, it's easily solved. I have a container that I just pour that water into and not pour it on the floor. That way there'll be virtually no water on the floor. But where there is a fair bit of water is where I do my watering, because I'm sloppy and I splash and I'm in a hurry and all that. Well, we can just slow up a bit, yeah, and do it a bit more gentle. Because obviously I don't want the floor flooded. It is actually a linoleum style, vinyl style flooring. It's not actual solid tiling. And obviously I don't want water getting in underneath it, because I don't know what's underneath it. So I will have a mop handy, and when I've done some watering, any spillages can just be mopped up there and then. Job done. So okay, there's a little bit of extra work involved, but I think for what I'm gaining, it's going to be a bonus. And then don't forget, in the middle of all this, we've got our two clothes racks with all the mounted orchids on wheels that we can move around. And in addition to that, we might be setting up the grow lights. That I haven't made my mind up yet. I've got 3 powerful grow lights and 2 smaller ones that you could call almost a single plant spotlight, or a small group of small plants, that sort of thing. So there's 5 in total. But the 3 big ones could cover a fair old bit. And there's some plants that don't need the extra light. They'll always be fine without it. It's things I'm starting to worry about are the highlight ones, the things like the cattleyas, lalias. You coming in through the roof, or are you going to go to the airport and land? Noisy tyke. Yeah, vandas, the rhinantheras, cattleya types. There are some highlight ones, but if you think about those 3 things I've said, there's 3 rhinantheras and 2 vandas. That's 5 plants. Cattleyas, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and the mounted ones, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 23, say 25 of those. They're not all in pots, some are on mounts, so they do vary. So that's not a huge number, is it? So I'm thinking about the grow lights. I'll be taking them, I'll have them. We do have power sockets in the grow room. I'll be taking all of the electrical stuff out of here, some of it. We've got a thermostat over there and an extension socket there with 2 plugs in it, one for the extractor, one for the inlet fan. I don't need any of that. That doesn't even need setting up. That can just go for spares. I've got the little computer fans, the little 12-volt jobbies running off the phone charger. I may set them up again. I'll take them, because they do form a very gentle flow around here, and that is beneficial. But, you know, they all got screwed into timber frames. We'd have to find a better way of doing it. We can't go screwing holes in the new place. But yeah, so, and obviously the heater and an associated oscillating fan, so that there's no hot or cold spots when the heater comes on, that will go on the same thermostat it's on now. But I've got a brand new fan that's never been used, because this time, rather than strapping them to the wall like the, oh, let's talk about it, point camera boy, I can't see what I'm doing here. These 2 here, the stands have been taken off and they've just been strapped to the wall. Well, I've got a brand new one of those with the stand, and that can go probably immediately in front of the non-opening sliding door in the entrance. And then the heater can go there as well. And that's in the middle. So the plants around the edge and the heat function and the oscillating fan are towards the centre. So the heat won't go blasting onto any of the shelves, it'll head into the open space in the middle. And then the fan will distribute that heat accordingly. That's how it sort of works now. And I will need a general purpose circulating fan that runs 24/7, which at the moment is this manky old one. And the only reason I'm keeping this manky old one going is because the bearings are starting to go. So what's actually happening now is it's running slow. This time of year, that's absolutely perfect for a fan that's going to run 24/7. It's not blasting anything, it's not causing a draft because it doesn't go round fast enough. In the not too distant future, it will pack up. And I don't want to fix it because then it'll be running too fast. But when it does finally go, for a fan that runs 24/7, I might go for the next size down next time round, because that is just so powerful when that's on. As I say, it's not at the moment because it's on its way out, so it's running slow. So there we go. As I said, I did the measurements, and I've also done measurements in other decisions that were made today, and Sister thought were good ideas. I was going to get a fridge freezer and put it in the storage cupboard, and my sister said, "What? And waste that lovely big storage cupboard?" And I thought, yeah. Well, the alternative is to get a separate fridge and a freezer, and the freezer will go under the boiler in the kitchen, and the fridge will go under the counter next to the washing machine in the kitchen, not in a cupboard in the hallway. And I had a look at individual units, and a fridge and a separate freezer comes to roughly the same amount of money as a fridge freezer, and they'll be in the kitchen. So that was a decision made today. I'd sort of nearly made me mind up anyway, but yeah, so that was done. What else? Yes, I'm going to buy a tall, thin bookcase, and if you can picture, you've probably forgotten by now, but as you come out of the kitchen and you go into the lounge, it's slightly narrower for a while because of the storage cupboard on the left-hand side. And the lounge door opens back against that wall. And then there's a little section of wall and then a sticky out bit on where the storage cupboard is. That piece of wall there would be absolutely perfect for a tall, thin set of shelves, just for putting things on. You know, there's always, you know, like I've got to put all my DVDs somewhere, all my CDs have got to go somewhere. You know, I need some shelving. So we shall see. And the furniture is already taking up most of the wall space. There's just that little bit there, so we might have a tall unit there. I'll get a new one, try and match something like what I've already got. So that was good. Yeah, I took the measurements in the kitchen for the openings, you know, under the boiler, the height and the width, and the same with the surface where the washing machine's going to go. I know how long that is now, so if I measure the washing machine, then I know how much of that is left for a fridge. And it doesn't matter if it sticks out a bit from the end of the worktop. That doesn't matter at all. So yeah. And I've just been through the snagging of anybody who's had anything to do with renting a property, or after the builders have been. You do snagging, where you itemise everything that's not right and you need fixed, basically. And the snagging company that did this, faultless. They missed two things. So all that videoing and chatting that I did for the snagging, not really necessary. Out of all those videos I snapped 2 pictures of things that they'd missed. That was it, 2. One of them was the patio door's lock that doesn't work and there's no key. Yeah, well, the estate agents already noted that, but I pointed that out. And also the power shower, the hose that goes to the, you know, the bit that squirts the water out is frayed and not connected very well where the join is, and they missed that as well. So I found 2 things that they missed. They actually found quite a lot of things that I missed. So good job, mate, good job. And very well done. You've got to like a room, say the bathroom. The first thing you've got is a 360 panoramic view with a very wide angle lens. So you get to see like from the ceiling to the floor, and it rotates round like that. And then underneath that you've got stills of the different angles of that room. And then you go down section by section. Door, you know, chipped, handle scratched. Door frame, chipped, so-and-so, so-and-so. Skirting board, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Light switches, sockets, and pictures of all of these items for each room. I was well impressed. Oh dear. Yeah, so I had to go through all that, looking at all their pictures, seeing what they'd said and what they'd seen. And you have to agree each room basically, and if you don't agree with any of the items, you click on it and it goes red, and you have to supply a picture and some words to say what you're disagreeing with. So luckily I had the videos to take the snapshots from. So that's probably taken me 2 hours to go through that flipping lot. But it is worth doing because they'll have your flipping deposit otherwise. So, pardon me, that's done. I'll get my scissors and cut that root off. That has me all the time. Every time I walk past that, that either pokes me in the eye, pokes me in the ear, hooks me hair up. And as that's got a mass of roots on it, I think it'll do without that one. It's just that one dangling down. Yeah, so this whole thing is coming together. My sister liked the place a lot. She's not quite sure about the lounge furniture placement because she said if you're going to have your seating there, and then you're going to come round here with your L-shaped bit so that you can look at the conservatory in the back garden, and then you're going to have your TV unit on the end. Given that your settee and chairs are quite wide, you're going to be, you know, closer to the TV than perhaps you might want to be. And I said, well, unlike you, my TV is not 8 foot by 12 foot. It's not a huge TV. Because you shouldn't sit too close to a TV. You know, that's why I say some of these huge TVs you see in small rooms, it's pointless. You know, if you're sitting next to somebody, you sort of nudge them and go, what's going on over your side of the screen? They're just too big for the room. And I don't want anything that big. But yeah, she did point out that when you're sitting in the furniture, the TV's going to be closer than it is now. But I don't think it'll be too close. We shall see. That might get rearranged, who knows. Yeah, so, yeah, good morning out, basically. And a good afternoon. The snagging's done and been sent off. And the other thing I did was, there was a notes section at the end. If you remember when I was videoing the garden, there was this old mattress down by the decking. I've mentioned that, and that I would like it removed. Because I don't see why I should have to try and cram that in the car and take it up the tip. It's not my rubbish. So I've mentioned that as well. It'd be nice to get rid of that. So yeah, there we go. That was today's stuff done. I watered all my pots this morning before I went. So that all got done. The mounts will be due tomorrow. And then Derek's little pots, the separate little ones, can be done probably tomorrow. They don't dry out very quickly because they've got hardly any roots, most of them, and they're only in tiny little plants in tiny little pots. But there's a good few growths coming on those little plants now, not all of them, and we have had a couple of losses, 2 I think, possibly 3, but they seem to be doing okay. And the other thing I was pleased about is my little pinguiculars that I repotted. They haven't sagged, they're firm, which strikes me that they'd have just gone all limp if they were going to collapse. So I think they might make it. They might make it, which would be good. And we'll have lots of pinguiculars, and we can dot them around in many more places. We might be having a few more plants in the house at the new place. I'm pretty confident. Just a minute. That was your last chance, sunshine. Pulled me fringe down inside my glasses. I know I need a haircut. But yeah, I think the Phalaenopsis can go on the kitchen windowsill. They'll fit nicely on there, I believe. It's quite a deep windowsill, and it'll never get any sun. So, but it's bright, you know, it's a big bright window. So that'll be that. And then, see, the only other downstairs window really is the lounge window, and that's in full sun a lot of the day. So we might only be able to use the kitchen window. I don't want plants upstairs. I really do not want plants upstairs. So we can rule that out. But, you know, we can get a bit more spaced out possibly in the conservatory, and we'll see how we go. Anyway, that's it for today. That was your lot, mate. It's actually got a growing tip on it as well. That was naughty. Okay, so there we go. That was a worthwhile trip to get those measurements and just be able to fit these things in knowing that they're going to fit. So that's taken the edge off of having to get all the shelving over there and then faff around to see what fits where. We now know it does. And there's room to spare, basically. Which we may have to find something else to go in that, as I said, sorts out the problem of my water with feed being in a different room, you know, in the house. And all the paraphernalia that goes with the orchids, there's a fair bit of that in the house. It would be nice to get all of it in the conservatory. We shall see. Anyway, see you next time. And thanks for all the comments on the walk around. That was quite fun to do, actually. Walking around narrating a walk around a house and a garden. Yeah, it was quite fun. But thanks for all your comments and everything. It's I'm glad people are looking forward to where it will all be in the future. I don't think there will be any more kitchen times in this house. We've probably had the last one. I really haven't got anything outstanding that needs doing, really. There's some odd stuff for the spring, but not for now. So we've probably had our last kitchen time in this house, and the next one will be in the other place. Who knows? Who knows? We might not be doing kitchen time anymore. We might be using my workbench to keep it all in the conservatory. Wait and see. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.